Hello everyone, Zellerant here, and for today's video on Umamusume, we're going to be talking about how you can counter the meta of the Cancer Cup, as I've mentioned in prior videos, is most likely going to be frontrunners, as now that we have Seiyun Sky, and it's now a mile distance, we can actually make competent frontrunners that actually can win the race and beat over your end closers as well as late sergers. But there is a way to actually counter them still. They're not going to be the only option when it comes to trying to win this one. And that is through building a blocker. You've probably already heard about this. I've talked about it in my other videos. But today I'm going to kind of showcase an example of how good a blocker can be and how much easier they may be for you to build as a free-to-play player. Because one thing that comes with frontrunners is they have very strict and hard requirements to build them quite well. And having now built a couple of frontrunners, I am finding it harder to build a good frontrunner than it was to build a good end closer or gold ship or Nita Taishin in the Gemini Cup. And it's because you're trying to get a lot of stats spread out amongst your account. And even stamina I am finding harder than the Gemini Cup, because one of the things you're not wanting to do when it comes to building your Umas in the Cancer Cup is you want to try and avoid bringing stamina cards because you don't need as much stamina. But because you're not bringing stamina cards, you're going to struggle to actually hit that 600 stamina requirement to survive the mile. So before we get into how you can kind of block frontrunners, let me showcase the frontrunner I've currently built so you can kind of see what we'll be looking at here in a second. And so if I go to my veteran Umas here, now I've been working on these things like all day the last couple days after the Gemini Cup. Now, these are by no means the final products, but they are what I've gotten right now when it comes to frontrunners, the best I have, and they're not too bad. They can compete, and I have won races in the practice rooms that I'm currently starting to do now. So the first one I got done was a Seiyun Sky. This one I got crazy. I got Turf S, Mile S. I actually got over the 600 stamina by a decent amount. Got it over 300 in the guts. The only area that she's fairly weak is wit, but we do have frontrunner savvy, which does bring it up to like 540 there. We have Summer Runner with speed, like I said, Mile S, Turf S. We got Groundwork. We've got 2 greens, and then we have Focus. This is the one area that I really don't like with her. We have to trigger Focus in the beginning if we want to get Groundwork off the ground. But other than that, pretty decent. She does decently well, but you're going to see that she's not the strongest that I have. Now, we have my other one here, which is going to be my Daiwa Scarlet, which is the other front runner I'm planning to run. And so she has, this is the current one I have built. She might be done. She's very, very good for what I needed. So she has 1159 speed with Mile S. Now we do have a left-handed and a Summer Runner, both double hit on the circles. So that brings it up significantly more there, plus with the Mile stamina. I couldn't quite get it to the 600, but I did get standard distance. That is my third guaranteed green, so that we can now trigger Groundwork on her. Power is a little bit lower than I'd like, but I have it at 761. The one nice thing that I did pick up, and this can actually be useful in your frontrunners and you're building them, I wouldn't rely on it being one of your main 3 greens to trigger Groundwork, but Competitive Spirit. If you're running 2 frontrunners, this one is basically a power skill, just like wet conditions and firm conditions, except that this one just has the requirement that 5 other runners are using the same strategy. If you run 2 frontrunners, it's very likely with this kind of frontrunner meta, as I talked about happening going into the Cancer Cup, that you're probably going to have 5 frontrunners. All you need is one person use 1 and another person use 2 if you're using 2, and now you got 5, and this triggers. And that's a nice little bonus to your power there. So I have those 4. Got Professor of Curvature, Fast Paced, Mile Corners, Tail Held High. Then I also got El Condor Pasa's ult, and then her own ult, with angling from my Seiyun Sky. And when it comes to stats, I actually was able to hit the guts 300, and it got my wit all the way up to 618. And for those that want to kind of see what I used to build them, this is what I'm working with. Very similar deck on my Seiyun Sky as well. I actually did to kind of get the stamina. Like I said, stamina's been a struggle for me on these. I had to bring Tamamo Cross. One nice thing about her is she has no special priority, so she floats around. and she has 15 training effectiveness. So even though she's a stamina card, she just brings in a lot of stamina in the beginning, and then she just acts kind of like Tazuna as a floating card that adds a lot of training effectiveness all over the place. So that was the build there. And so those are those two. And then I also have a late serger I built, which I'll showcase this one after we display how a blocker can work. So those are my two front runners. Now let's go ahead and look at a video here. Let me switch it over of one of the runs we did last night on live stream. So we had someone in the audience, or one of my viewers, who actually is now, they're building around having a blocker and a late serger and an end closer to win. So instead, they're gonna attempt to block my front runner from getting their angling off, or the alt, Seiyun Sky's alt off. And by blocking her from getting the alt off, I'm not gonna have a lot of acceleration, and thus their end closers and late surgers can take over. So let's switch over to it here. I have the video up here from the live stream. Now I do have the text still up from the live stream. You can kind of see over there, right? But it's not too big of a deal. Now I do have it muted here. And so we'll just kind of go through what I'm going to showcase here. And so I was talking a bit here, but I'm just going to talk over it right now. So we are waiting on one person to get in there. Let's see. Move through. Okay, so this is just me showcasing my own Seiyun Sky here. Then my Diva Scarlet that I just showed. So I'm like, here's my front runners. And then this was my first attempt at a late serger. Absolute junk. I just threw in there because I didn't have one yet. I actually have one better than that. So, but now we have the blocker. This person, Arsonist right here. They have some crazy, they are ready to go for Cancer Cup already. So this is their front runner blocker. One thing you're going to notice on it, look at her speed. Her speed's only 647. Their power is 934. Wit is 813. Turf S. And so all your blocker needs, you need the speed to survive campaign, of course, but all your blocker needs is the power to get in the front and the wit to be smart enough to activate all of their skills, to keep them in the front. And then as soon as they get past the point when everybody starts surging and it's too late for your front runners to trigger their ults, she will fall back. She doesn't have the speed to actually win. She'll fall back, and that's why you're going to want your late serger and end closer. But this is basically what a blocker's looking like. This will be, I feel like, a lot easier for free-to-plays to build. Now, it's going to be very hard to get one this strong, but this is going to be pretty easy to get because you don't have to focus on speed as much. Then you have another person that brought in their blocker. Here's another one that's a more free-to-play-ish blocker. Didn't quite hit the staminas that you want or the guts. Has really high wit, high power. They didn't get a Turf S, and their speed's a little bit higher. So you can kind of see there's differences in build. Theirs isn't as strong because one of the things you do still want on your blockers is you do want groundwork because you want them to get out, get in front, stay in front, and then they die off at the end. And so that's their blocker. Now we're going to take a look at their late serger. Let's see. Right here is their late serger. Now this is also going to be this. You're probably not going to get something this strong as a late serger, but this is what they come in with. You have that. You block the front runner with your vaccine. You build a late serger that's all speed and all power. You don't need as much wit. You still need a little bit of wit, but since you're focusing on speed and power, you're probably not going to get as much. You want to still try and hit those thresholds of 600 and 300 guts, that little bonus speed. Plus, you need 600-ish to survive. This person's just crazy. They got Turf S and Mile S on this. And then you just want all of those skills that are going to excel you at the very end. So Red Shift, Let's Pump Some Iron, Corner Adept, Nimble Navigator, not as big a deal. Straightaway Spurt. Oh, okay, yeah, they're running her as an end closer, it looks like, because they have Straightaway Spurt, Furious Feet, Mile Straightaways, Tail Held High, so just blasting off at the end. These are all skills that are going to activate right at the end. Then, I don't know if I show it here. This one is... Oh, this one's somebody else's Grass Wonder. This is them building their own late serger, Grass Wonder. This was a more free-to-play-ish one. Not quite the stamina and guts, but they made sure to get speed and power. Got Mile S. Got some skills here. Very capable to get that. Your standard distance right here kind of saves them on the stamina. Stamina's a problem until you add that in there. that's pretty much it. Now, let's take a look and see how it works in practice. So we can watch this race and just see. And I'll kind of explain what's happening as things go on here. So it has the line up here. I forgot to show the Maruzinski, but it's an end closer Maruzinski. So they put a lot of end closer sparks on her, and she's built just like this vodka. But they put a lot of sparks on there, because the nice thing with Maruzinski is her ult on her is better than the inherited one, and if you trigger it, she's going to win. And you'll kind of see her as this race goes on. I'll kind of point them out as we go. So we're going to have immediately at the beginning, as they start, groundwork's going to trigger. Now, like I mentioned, the thing that sucks with my Seiyun Sky, she did not hit focus, which means she is not going to hit groundwork immediately. But my Daiwa Scarlet here, you're going to see her get groundwork off right off the bat, and that's very important because you're going to see why here. She's going to shoot up in front. Now, we do have an NPC in here because we didn't get 9 people, but she's going to shoot right into the front, right off the bat. But then you have that Bakshin, which has crazy power. She's going to push all the way through to the front. It doesn't matter that I have groundwork. She has groundwork too, plus she has more power. And this is where you're going to see the fighting. Mine is fairly good, as I showed. But she's got more wit, she's got more power, and she's got a lot more mid-leg skills. So they're going to fight. But as soon as their skills here are going off, they're fighting for the lead. But that Bakshin has just got more mid-leg skills to kind of keep her in the lead. And as we kind of go through, and now she popped something off because she's now pushing herself a little bit more. Daiwa Scarlet got tail held high. She's making a move for the front. But one of the things here, the Bakshin has done her job pretty much, because right after this line at the tippity top here, right here is where angling triggers. If you get past that point, like just a little bit past that, and you're not in first place, it's too late. Can't get it off. You are too late. So as soon as we hit the spurt, I'm too late. I cannot get Seiyun Sky's ult off. Bakshin's going to start to fall off now because now they're spurting. I did, since she was in second place, the one benefit I have, because I have El Condor Pasa's skill, I did get her skill off, which is it's a smaller excel and speed boost, but it's very nice. It only needs you to be in second place, and you have to have more than 30% stamina left, which if you've built your build properly, you will. So we got that off, and so Bakshin's going to start to fall off now because of her low speed. So my Grass Wanderer's doing her ult. Not that big a deal. Okay, and then go forward here. It's going to show her ult really quick. Now, as soon as she passes, we are going to get that. You can see all the late surgers here are taking off. Look at the vodka. This is the whole plan. They're just blasting off. Daiwa Scarlet finally passes her, gets her own ult off. So she's taking off. This is working out pretty well. Even though we didn't get Seiyun Sky's ult off, we're doing okay. But you're going to see these end closers here just coming in at the end. Got the vodka, got the Maruzinski and the Grass Wonder. There is my Daiwa Scarlet. And you can see my Seiyun Sky's dead. I mean, she can't keep up anymore. So she got none of the end skills off. Vodka just coming up. And that Maruzinski is crazy, by the way. But I wish I would have showed the stats on stream when I did it. And Vodka comes in and passes. Maruzinski also passes me. That Grass Wonder I showed you that's trash, she's about to pass her too, and she's not very good. And that was the finish. Right there. Vodka takes the victory. Now, there's been cases where it's not even close. This was actually a pretty good one to show it, but it was not even close on some of them. And that is basically how you can beat strong frontrunners. All you need to do is kind of get those... just get that Bakshin up there that can just take the lead, hold the lead, prevent the ult. Yeah, they're not going to have the speed, and so they're going to fall off and lose, but that's where your late surger comes in and takes the victory. So, the last thing I kind of want to show here, which let me pull it up, is a build for your late surger. Because I actually did build a better Grass Wonder now. Right here. And this one is basically my equivalent. Because if you are running front runners, you should run 2, but you're still going to want to back up late surger or end closer in case you get blocked. So because there's a good shot that like your box scenes are going to be your equivalent of nice natures. Like rather than having heavy debuffers going into the Cancer Cup, it's most likely going to be, you're going to see blockers, you're going to see Boxine, or people that got Smart Falcon. Smart Falcon's the best one for this, but people that have Smart Falcon are going to come in and be crazy blockers. You block them, and then you have to have the late Serger to kind of come in and save you. So you can have Grass Wonder, Vodka are good ones. One of the big things that makes them good is they have speed and power as their bonuses versus something like Guts, like Narita Taishin does, which is very hard, makes her very hard to build. That's why I went with Grass Wonder on this one. And so this is one I built. Don't really have too much, but it's all end game. It's all about taking off at the end. Little bit of extra speed with left-handed here. Got Let's Pump Some Iron. That's a big gamble one, but if she gets it, she's gonna win. If she gets Let's Pump Some Iron off. Then we have Professor of Curvature. Then you have It's On your left, and Furious Feet. If I can trigger all these at the end, she can win very easily. And I've done some test runs. I have not tested with actual people, but against NPCs, and she does almost beat my front runners, even when they get angling off. And so this is what you're wanting to looking at do with your late Sergers here. Anyone that wants to see kind of my build here, this is what I went with. The biggest thing I was targeting is getting specific golds. That's why I have the Ogre Decap here. Power cards to get that power up. Then speed card, she has 20% speed, which is nice. It buys me the ability to not have to bring as many speed cards, so I brought Tazuna. And then you also want to get your wit as high as you can as well. I want as close to a guarantee to get these skills off when the actions are happening, and that's what wit's for. You got guts and stamina perfectly, because the one area that's going to matter the most is the finals. And the finals has, you automatically are in a great mood, and a great mood adds a 4% bonus to your stats. So my stamina will be over 600, and my guts will be over 300 with her. I really wish I would have had Turf S. I would have took Turf S over Mile S, but it'll work. She's got plenty of power going into this, plenty of speed. She's very good and capable of winning. Maybe try and make an improvement to her later. One thing I really wish I had was Triumphant Pulse. Just couldn't really fit it in there. It is what it is. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But that's how you can beat the frontrunners. Frontrunners not the only way to go. But the biggest thing is you're going to need a blocker. Because if the frontrunners doesn't have anyone blocking and they trigger their ult, they're most likely going to win. And I can just showcase that one real quick. We'll just do a quick room match here. And this one I'm just going to do with NPCs, and you can kind of see the difference. We just watched one where you got blocked, and now we're going to watch one where you do not. Alright, I've got the race set up here, so this is not going to include other players, this is just using mine, but I just kind of want to show you the difference now without a blocker. So I have my two front runners. We have my Daiwa Scarlet here, and we have my Seiyun Sky, my two front runners. And as you can see, my Seiyun Sky has more speed, more power, more stamina, less wit, but she has more guts. She has about 100 less wit than my Daiwa Scarlet, but my Daiwa Scarlet is a little bit better on the greens and all that. And so then we have my late Serger, got all the skills here for the end game to hopefully push up past them, but we're not going to have anyone to block now. There's no one blocking their ults going off, or Seiyun Sky's ult going off. So let's just go ahead now and show a demo without the blocker. Okay, let's go. The one thing I do like about this race versus Tenno Show Spring is it's much shorter, so you can actually watch it at a slower pace. You can actually analyze what's going on versus seeing them run a million miles an hour. So we got groundwork and everything off. Seiyun Sky takes off the fastest. She has more power, but Daiwa Scarlet's smarter. And that wit really helps keep them up in the lead. So now they're going to fight. We don't have a blocker with an insane amount of power and skills that really keep them up. But, man, it looks like my Seiyun Sky is really taking the lead here. Daiwa Scarlet is failing her triggers. She just got rushed. There's fast rushed mile corners. But my Seiyun Sky is going to be able to keep herself up in the front here. Daiwa Scarlet's trying to catch up, but she got it. Saiyan Sky got escaped Artis off. So it actually is going to look like Saiyan Sky might pull this off. But you have my Grass Wonder right here. Just watch my Grass Wonder when she takes off in 8th. Number 8 right here. So we got the ult off. She's going to blast off now. Let's pump some Iron Triggered. Oh, Grass Wonder's coming in hot. Furious Feet. And her ult. Can she pass? No, she's not going to because she got her ult off. But as you can see, this Grass Wonder could win if she would not have gotten her ult off. But soon if she gets her ult off, she's gone. And yeah, it's a massive difference when they get their ult off. And my Grass Wonder's not that much weaker than the vodka we've seen. So that is the difference of not blocking versus blocking. As you can see, my Daiwa Scarlet got blocked by my Saiyan Sky. She's strong. She's got a lot of speed and everything. But my Saiyan Sky was the one in the front. So she got the ult off. Daiwa Scarlet didn't. So my Grass Wonder was able to beat Daiwa Scarlet. Wasn't able to catch Saiyan Sky. So that is a prime example of why you're going to need a blocker if you want to build anything outside of a front runner. But if you do build one, you can successfully beat this with a late serger and an end closer pretty easily because they're going to not get as much acceleration without Saiyan Skies. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's just what I wanted to show and kind of let you know that front runners can be defeated. So don't be too scared of trying to build something outside of the meta when it comes to the Cancer Cup. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you like my content, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.